Well, tonight on Nova Legends podcast, I got back again for like the 10th time. Coach Sherman Rivers of Patriot High School, and this time he's back to talk about his team that just qualified for the state tournament. They won the region. What's your region called now, Coach?
It's Region 6B. I'm pretty sure we are.
One 6B with an undefeated record and goes to the state quarters on Friday. So welcome back, Coach.
Hey, how's it going, Julian? Appreciate you having me, man.
Of course. So, Coach, I've talked to you all year, all year long about your team. Great getting to know you. Did you have any idea when the season began that you guys? I know you lost some players, so I think to a private school. Did you think you'd be undefeated this year? And did you think if I told you at the time that you would be in the state quarterfinals, but it surprised you?
As far as the state stuff go, I mean, I knew that we had a shot. To say that I thought we'd be undefeated, I would be lying if I said yes, I thought so. We lost some really good players. Trey Nelson, Chad Watson were senior graduates, and Ellis Nairi, Elias Bakatsias was another one that played a lot of minutes for us as a senior. And then we lost two kids that transferred and went over to Battlefield. Chase Nelson, Trey's little brother, and Jonathan Warren. And then we lost our starting five-man, who was Daryl Johnson. He went to Fairfax Christian. So, I knew that we had some talent. I knew that we had some young guys that could play. But like anybody else does, banking your season off of young, inexperienced guys is going to be some growing pains. So I expected that. But we've been able to learn while winning. So that's a good thing. And we got some really highly competitive kids that really get after it, and they set goals for themselves. I mean, they said they wanted to have the opportunity to go undefeated, and I said, guys, that's really difficult to do. Let's have some more realistic goals. They said, nope, put it up there. So we put it up there, and here we are at 25-0 going into the state tournament.
And one thing I would say about Patriot, you guys have amazing crowd support. You got great cheerleaders. I mean, you guys put on a show. It is just a pleasure being at your games.
Listen, I've said it, and I know that I'm biased, but I think we have the best home court advantage there is. We definitely have the best student section. Our support from adults, parents, and whatever else in the crowd is great. And clearly our cheerleaders put on the show and do a good job. And, it all starts with our administration and, how they set the tone for it and everything else. So I'm definitely blessed to be in a very good situation with a lot of support.
As a coach, I know you got some work to do, but have you ever had more fun than you're having this year?
I mean, it's fun. It's funny enough that these kids, like you said, it's a lot of times when you have young players, they don't know what they don't know. So it's just funny watching them and how they go through everything. And it doesn't seem like things are getting to them. And I always say, I feel like they're trying to make my hair go gray faster than I want it to, because they're doing things and they look at me like, Coach, relax, we got this. And I'm like, please just stop making things so interesting all the time.
Yeah. Well, one thing I noticed about your team, if I had to do a scouting report, one thing I would say right away is you guys defend really well, and your defense is a little bit complicated. I was trying to figure out exactly what you guys do because you hide some of the things you do, but I definitely think one of the strengths of your team is how you defend.
Right. Well, listen, that's always at the forefront of everything we do is defense. I tell our guys, listen, we're going to do a lot of work on defensive principles in the off season. Obviously working on your own individual offensive game, but you're going to have to understand defensively what you're going to have to do, not only as an individual, but from a team standpoint, because when you're all out there moving as one defensively, that's a beautiful thing to see. And one thing that we do know is that you're going to have a night where you can't throw it in the ocean. And honestly, that Potomac game was one of those nights for us. We weren't making a whole lot of shots. Our top guy, Nasir Coleman, played a year in the district, struggled making shots. So we were able to string together some stops, made some timely baskets. But, like I said, defense is very important for us. And there's some different things that we do, and I'm not going to dive too much into it. But really what it comes down to is very fundamental half-court defense, being able to help out guys on dribble drives and rotate. And that's really the important part for us.
Well, let's get back to the Potomac game. One of the best regular season games I've seen ever, but I'm sorry, one of the best games I've seen ever. But it's been many years since I've saw a game that I was so excited That it was a thrilling game. You had two very good teams, well coached teams. I thought the officials did a good job. I thought Honoraires, the coach, he just coaches. He doesn't cry. Both of you guys were just coaching. You weren't giving the refs a hard time on calls that were good. I mean, everyone complains when the calls don't, when
They probably
arguably a bad call. The crowds were unbelievable on both sides. I had a seat all by myself, and the Potomac crowd was probably about 20 people away. By the end of the game, I was in the middle of the Potomac crowd. I mean, it kept going, and they were going back and forth. You had the cheerleaders during timeouts are doing flip competitions. I mean, it came down to you guys had 11-point lead in the first half. They had a 6-point lead in the fourth quarter. The game had everything. It had a block shot at the buzzer. The game very easily could have gone to overtime. So what were your thoughts? Truly an historic game.
I mean, listen, it was a very good basketball game. I wish it wasn't as good from my standpoint. Obviously we got up 11 early, and Potomac's defending champs, so they play like defending champs. They weren't just going to go away quietly. And next thing you know, we were looking up, we were down 6 with like 3 minutes to go. Wasn't a whole lot going right for us. And then, like I said, we just started stringing together some stops and got some timely baskets. Nick Marrero hit a couple big shots for us. And obviously Nasir was able to get to the line. And Jay Randall, who had been in foul trouble for most of the game, was able to come in and get some key buckets for us. So, it was a very good game. Like I said, the atmosphere was amazing. I'm all about that. I just like thinking about how games were when I was in high school and how every game was kind of like that. So I love seeing those sorts of things happen. Obviously, Potomac with their history, us up and coming and having a very good fan base. So, and a lot of people, they look for it, not necessarily for the player standpoint, but just because our staff's history of being players there or coaches there, it's one of those that people kind of get circled on the calendar when we're able to play it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the state tournament now. You played, I think, in 3 state tournaments or 4.
I played in back-to-back championships.
So, back then we would travel somewhere and you'd play all 3 games. So it was a big weekend. It was a week into the weekend.
Right.
Do you like the format now where you get one game, you're the home team, so they got to come to you.
Right.
I guess you got Manchester from Richmond.
We got James River.
You got James River. Do you like that format, or do you wish we were all going to Liberty University or VCU like we used to go back in the day?
When I was in high school, that was when they took the quarterfinal out of that equation. So it was just a semifinal and final.
That's right.
And listen, I mean, that was fun. You get to leave, you get to go stay the night at a hotel, and you feel like you're really traveling to go do something. So that's always a good one. But I'm not going to complain about us having a home state game for sure. So, I mean, I'm happy about that. Thank you, buddy. Okay. All right. You show me later. Okay. All right.
Now, do you know much about James? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, they got to be pretty good. They were able to knock Lansdowne out, who was one of the better teams in the state. And then, to turn around, I think they had beat Manchester twice during the regular season. I know that Manchester got them in that regional championship, but, they're a team that's won 18 to 19 games. So anybody at this point is going to be a good basketball team. So we can't take anybody lightly. So I'm glad that they're coming to our place. That's for sure.
Right. And I mean, look, it's tournament time. You're going to take one game at a time. I know the Northern region teams and Occoquan region teams, the Northern Virginia teams, them. But do you know anything about Manchester or at all, or just that, gotta be...
I've known a little bit more in the last few days, obviously being able to get some eyes on some film and stuff like that. But up until that point, I wasn't necessarily expecting teams from Richmond to come out from that side. I was expecting it to be somebody from the beach, but clearly they were the teams that deserved it because they went and won, and not only won, they won by a good margin in both those semifinal games. So, and obviously we know about the teams up north, and Hayfield is doing their thing, and obviously Fairfax, Mike Barbie, well-coached team, and Washington Liberty, well-coached team, South Lakes, well-coached team, Mike Desmond. So, Bobby Dobson up there. So there's not going to be any sort of gimme games in this situation. I mean, Battlefield's got 6 losses and 4 of them have been to us. So they're a really good team as well. So
Is there any, does it make the game more enticing that you have some former players on the battlefield team?
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, for our fans, obviously, they enjoy it, and heck, and I know that they are in a situation that probably was better for them. It worked out for them, and obviously able to win some games and play a good amount of basketball. So I'm happy for those kids, and clearly it's a little bit extra for us playing against some kids we know.
Well, last question, Coach. Do you think Hayfield's going to have any trouble getting out of their bracket? Do you think that they can be tested by Washington Liberty or the winner of South Lakes and Fairfax?
I mean, it's like you said, in this situation, everybody's a good basketball team and coach well. They got some, obviously they played Fairfax the other night, and I know the margin at the end was by a lot, but you saw the first quarter was, back and forth. And then obviously their guys started to make plays that the Fairfax kids couldn't make. But you got to think South Lake's been a really good team all year. So if they end up meeting each other, I'm sure that'll be a tough one. And, it's nothing that's a gimme. I know that Los will say the same when it comes to that, but they're going to be tough for sure because they're a really good basketball team. Yeah,
it would be thrilling to have 2 undefeated teams from Northern Virginia in the finals. So that would be something that would be a memorable game. But I've gotten to really enjoy all the teams that are still alive up here, and I know all the coaches. Mike Desmond I just met. I watched him play a lot, but the other coaches I knew pretty well. So actually, Barbie I don't know, but I'm definitely cheering for you guys. I hope the state titles comes to Northern Virginia this year. Comes back to Northern Virginia this year.
Well, definitely, we definitely got the numbers in our favor, having more teams in there than everybody else. But I'm looking forward to it, and obviously, I know everybody is trying to look ahead and thinking about us in Hayfield. Of course, the year that we go undefeated, Los would have a team that would undefeated too. So it couldn't just let us have it.
Exactly. Yeah, he's not going to let you get one over on him, huh?
Right. We got some good teams, and so it's nothing that's going to be given as far as what's going to happen. So.
Okay, Coach, I know you're busy. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Best of luck. If I can get to the game, I'll definitely will try.
I really appreciate it, man. I appreciate everything you do as far as putting on for Northern Virginia basketball for sure.
Oh, it's been a blast, and thanks for participating. And I love your team, and can't wait to see how it works out.
Appreciate it.
Okay, Coach, have a good one, buddy.
See you now.
Okay, man. Good luck.